for instance, I had one guy, Emmanuel, who was a total gangbanger. I'm talking the earrings, the walk, the tattoos. He told you he was an admitted gangbanger. When he came into drug court, he had the worst attitude I've ever seen. So we're sitting there quilting one Saturday, and I said, "Hey, Emmanuel," I said, "what do you want to do one day?" And he said, "I want to be a cop." And I thought he was being a smart aleck. And I just kind of looked at him, and I thought, okay. So the next Saturday, I said, "Hey, Emmanuel," I said, "were you serious when you told me you want to be a cop?" He said, "Yeah, I do." And I said, "All right, I'm going to tell you something. If you get through this program perfectly, I'm going to help you get to be a cop." And his eyes got real big, and he's like, "Are you for real?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You got to uphold your end of the bargain." So the end of his drug court time came, and he had not yet taken and passed the GED, but he had been perfect. He had not had any sanctions, nothing. So I called a friend of mine who worked for a private investigation company who owned it. And I said, "Hey, will you interview someone for me? I'm not saying you have to hire him, but will you interview him?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I got a manual in here, and we practiced for a week on interview techniques. I said, "Take the earrings out, stand up straight, look me in the face, And then we went over to one of the department stores, got a new suit, shoes, so he's ready to go on his interview. So he called me after the interview, and he said, "I got the job." I said, "That's great, man." And do you know, he still works for that company. That was over 4 years ago, and is their number one employee, and he has passed the GED, and he's going to actually be applying to work at the sheriff's department, and he's done great. Now, if I just had seen Emmanuel for 5 minutes in court on Wednesdays, how would I have ever known he wants to be a cop or been able to change his attitude? That took getting to know him to figure that out. You don't learn those things in court, but for some reason, we as people, and I'm not just saying judges, we're all guilty of it, we want people to change, and we want easy solutions to hard problems, and people are hard problems. So if you're not willing to invest yourself in helping to fix people, don't expect them to be fixed. And so that quilting program has been a great thing. I tell people, I've had so many judges say to me, "Hey, Judge McCooey, tell me about this quilting program." I said, "Well, on Saturdays, I come down here and quilt," and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not coming down on Saturday to do anything with someone." And I said, "Well, let me tell you something. Not that you have to come on Saturday, but if you don't give of yourself, it won't work. Okay, I don't care if you do quilting or you do something else, but you have to figure out something that lets these folks know, hey, I really care about you. I want you to get off drugs. I'm here to help you do whatever we can to assist you in getting off these drugs." Let's face it, I'm a judge. I get paid to wear that black robe Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. It's no big deal if I'm sitting there on Wednesdays at noon checking them in. They say to themselves, "She gets paid to do that. Who cares?" I mean, she doesn't really care about me. I mean, the lady gets a big salary to sit up there in that black robe and ask me these questions. But when I see them on Saturday mornings, I have had so many of them say to me, "Hey, Judge McCooey, don't you have anything better to do on Saturday?" And I always tell them, this is the most important thing I have to do is being down here with y'all. And I'm down there every Saturday with them, and they know I care about you getting off drugs. I am interested in you. I want to hear about your family. I want to hear about what's going on with you. But saying it in court doesn't get you anywhere. I'm paid to sit there. I'm paid to say those things. And that's why I think our system in so many ways doesn't work. Because for some reason, people think that sitting in a black robe from 8 to 5 gives you some kind of power. It doesn't give you any power. The power comes from these people within themselves and you helping them to figure out how to get to where they need to be. you know, I can sit there as a judge and tell someone, you will get off drugs or I will lock you up. Well, yeah, I mean, I might be able to lock them up, but is that going to make them get off drugs? No, that's ridiculous. There's no power that I have in that. And for some reason, a lot of people think that that really works. Well, that doesn't. We know it doesn't work. I mean, our jails continue to fill up, our prisons continue to fill up, the same people continue to come back over and over, and we all sit here and go, why doesn't it work? Well, it doesn't work because these are human beings and you have to invest something in these people if you want to make a difference. And I'm not saying it always does, but more times it does make a difference than doesn't if you'll try. You know, the thing about rehabilitative courts like drug court, and I also am the mental health court judge, which of course is another rehabilitative kind of court. You see people change every day, and it is a remarkable thing. You know, you once in a while in court will have someone come back and say, hey, you helped me. But when you do rehabilitative courts, you see it day in, day out. People constantly coming back, telling you things that they're doing good. Like drug court, people that have graduated and finished, guess what? They still come down on Saturdays. Last Saturday, I had 2 of my graduates that have been gone for years that came down just to see me, tell me how they were doing, because they know I'm there every Saturday. They can come down and talk to me. That's a great thing. You don't get that in court, and that's what it's all about. It's, you know, what do we want as taxpayers? We want people to be law-abiding, tax-paying citizens, taking care of their families, having jobs, paying taxes, leaving, you know, happy lives, raising their children. Those are good things. Well, how do we get people to that point? For every person that I can get off drugs, and I say me, I'm not doing anything, they're doing it, but for every person that I'm given the opportunity to go through drug court to help themselves learn to stay away from drugs, that's someone that we're not having to lock up, that we're not having to pay for their children or their spouse. There's nothing positive that comes from sending someone to prison except for we're all paying for it, and we have a lot of other people that pay for it. But if I can get them back in society, that is a win-win for all of us. And I've never had anyone who said, I think drug court's stupid. That's a horrible idea. Or I think mental health court's dumb. That's a horrible idea. Everybody says, hey, Judge McCooey, if you're willing to spend the time to work with these folks, that's great. And that's what people want. But you just have to explain it to them.